In our last lesson, we were talking about the different teachings of the Catholic Church, and we tried to show you the importance of what you call the union of doctrines. Meaning to say, to study the truths of the Catholic Church, the way to go about it is like this, that you get one truth, you examine it carefully, see whether there is something wrong with it, and then after purifying it with your reasoning, wait for the next truth. Then when the next truth is taught to you, then you try to assimilate the two, trying to see whether there are contradictions between the two, or it is not possible to unite them. Now this is what you call the union of doctrine. What is wrong with most Catholics is that we know so many truths. We read, we study, we listen to homilies, we attend retreats, we read again, but we never try to assimilate it into one whole truth. The union of doctrine is this, that all the teachings of Christ, all the teachings of the Catholic Church, when you have learned them, appears to be only one teaching. That is why you call it union of doctrine. They are not 100 different teachings, it's only one that has been cut off or separated momentarily for our own understanding, but when you put them together, it is only one. Now that was what the Blessed Virgin Mary did. She is the exemplar for us on how to study the Catholic religion. Now Mary did it this way. So first an angel appeared to her, and she examined this thoroughly with her mind, her reasoning, trying to find out whether what the angel is saying is in accordance with the holy teaching of the Jewish people. Now that, by the way, is an advantage if you have holy writings to base your reasoning, because for us we're doing the same thing. When we reason, we are basing it on the teachings of scriptures and the fathers of the church. Now that is a great advantage. So Mary watched what was happening, and she was reasoning out whether it was true, whether it was right. The word used is pondering it in her heart. Well, actually, she was not pondering it in her heart. It was in her mind that she was pondering it. And then the angels appeared to the shepherds and went to Mary and said certain things. So Mary listened to what the shepherds said and tried to assimilate it with what the angel have said, and found that, well, there is nothing contradictory. It could be absorbed. Both doctrines could be put together, could be united with one another. If Mary found that there was something contradictory between what the angel said and what the shepherd said, she would have rejected one or the other. But one she had to reject because there was a contradiction. So the same thing when the Magi came, the Magi said certain things, and Mary, Gospel says, pondered it in her heart. So she got what the Magi said and tried to assimilate it with what the angel and what the shepherd said. And she did exactly the same thing with what Simeon said, with what Anna said and did, and saw no contradiction with them. In fact, they were sort of reinforcing each other. That is the way to study the things of religion. It must not be like a box of jigsaw puzzle where everything is scattered and ununited. No, it has to be like a jigsaw puzzle, but already put together. Now, most Catholics are like these in that they study so much but never united the doctrines. And so what you have is a variety of hodgepodge in your mind. And as long as these doctrines are not united, you do not know the Catholic Church. You do not know the Catholic religion. Even worse, what happens is this, that you have some false idea about the teaching of Christ, and then when the truth comes in and you find out that it is contradictory, that they cannot be united, you throw away the truth, the right one. And so you see how difficult really it is to be a good Catholic unless you use your mind very well, trying to unite the things that you have learned. That's the reason why silence and solitude is so important in learning the teachings of Christ, because it is during those times that you assimilate and unite all the doctrines that you have learned. This, therefore, is the importance of what we call pondering it in your hearts. And hopefully, as we go through this lesson, these vignettes, you are doing exactly the same thing. Because that is what precisely we are doing. We are giving you the plan of salvation, and as we teach you new things, we try to integrate it immediately, one to the other, showing you that all of them are related to one another. That is the advantage of studying the Fathers of the Church. Because when the Fathers of the Church explain the teachings of Christ, the next lesson, they try to assimilate it right away with the first lesson. So in fact, all we have to do is study them earnestly, because learning the teaching of Christ and assimilating them one to the other has been done by them already. And so very little mental effort is required of us. Let us now add a little more to our knowledge. Notice, and please bear with me, that we keep on repeating the plan of salvation, and we shall repeat this for at least 1 year or even more, and then we just go deeper and deeper and deeper. But because this thing is so deep, I have to show you that it is really deeper than what we said yesterday. The last lesson, we presented to you the plan of salvation and added one element into it, in that the first step is you must reason correctly until you find the knowledge of God, Christ, and His commandments. And then only after this will you have eternal life. Then we mentioned the text from St. John the Evangelist. How do we know Christ and God? And he answered, by obeying His commands. This is how you will know that Christ is God, if you obey His commands. Then John the Evangelist adds, how do we know that we love Him? And Christ says, if you love me, keep my commands. So the way to know Christ is to obey His command. The way to love Him is obey His commands. Now the Catechism says man was made to know God, to love God, and to serve God. Now how do we serve God? Again, by obeying His commands. And therefore, if we obey the commandments of Christ, we know Him, we love Him, and we serve Him. Reason is so important in the process of knowing God and Christ, because one day we have to defend the Catholic religion. This is called apologetics. How can you defend the Catholic religion through a process of apologetics if we have not reasoned out the truths that we believe? St. Paul reminds us, you should tell people the reason for our belief if we are going to attract them to our religion. How can you tell them the reason for the things that you believe if you have not reasoned out? The big difference between the Catholic Church and our separated Christian brethren is this, that all our separated Christian brothers is started by distrusting reason and trusting more emotions. The Catholics trust more reason and we distrust emotions. In the next lesson, we shall further discuss the importance of reason. May the divine assistance always be with you.